Could you imagine if Lewis is back? Can you imagine if Lewis dominates this weekend? Oh my God, mate. Welcome back, guys, to another video, race number 1. Let's go. Now, if you've been a long time Lewis Hamilton fan, you've been waiting for this day. Ever since his move to Ferrari was announced, you've been waiting for Lewis to actually get himself back into a competitive car. And it seems like every Ferrari fan, every Lewis Hamilton's fans' wishes has come true. This Ferrari has got performance. I don't want to jump to conclusions, and I know everyone's going to be in the comments saying it's free practice 1 and 2, what are you talking about? You have no idea. Let's see in qualifying, and he's going to get killed in qualifying. I get that, right? Lewis Hamilton will suffer in qualifying, right? And partly that's down to his age. He might not be as quick over 1 lap, right? Totally agree. Charles Leclerc is incredibly quick, as was George Russell, but I actually rate Charles Leclerc a lot quicker than George Russell. So I get that, right? Lewis isn't going to come in here and he's not going to set the world alight in qualifying and qualify 3-4 tenths ahead of Charles. That won't happen. Cool with that, because Lewis's race pace is second to none. Like I do not think there's a better driver in terms of tyre management, race strategy. This is the experience, right? This is why he's a 7-time world champion. But Lewis on a Sunday, I don't think there's anyone stronger. I take that back. Lewis, when he's motivated on a Sunday, I do not think there is anyone on his level whatsoever. And yes, that includes Max Verstappen. Yes, that includes Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Sergio Perez. Oh no, he's gone. But you get my point, right? Lewis Hamilton, when he's motivated, when he feels confident in the car, the guy is an absolute wizard. And I've seen it here on Friday on these practice sessions. He's feeling the car. And yes, he's not going to win every single race, and he might not win this weekend. But you can already see, I think FP1, he was 6 tenths behind Charles. FP2, he got down to 4 tenths. And all he's doing is like a feeling out process. And this is what Lewis likes to do. He likes to do, I think James Vowles commented on it on one of the podcasts. He likes to do 101 things in FP1, works out what does and doesn't work, spends the whole session just working out what does and doesn't work. And then in FP2, he doesn't do so many experiments, right? And that's where you see the difference. And that's where you see him actually trying to zone in on what works, what doesn't work. And in an FP3 tomorrow morning or later tonight, depending on what time you watch this, I imagine he will get closer. But it doesn't mean Lewis is going to win the race today, or it doesn't mean he's going to win the race next weekend, etc. It's going to take a feeling out process for Lewis to get fully adapted and comfortable with the car. However, in that meantime, we are going to have some real exciting races, because personally, I don't think Lewis is probably going to qualify in the top 3 this weekend. And that's fine, because that just means on Sunday, it'll be even more exciting. Do you think Lewis Hamilton's back? Is this a new motivated Lewis? Is Lewis finally in a car that he hasn't been in for the last, 3-4 years? Where there's a car that actually does what he wants it to do and is actually competitive. Guys, I cannot wait for this Grand Prix. I'm actually so excited. What happened to Ollie Behrman? So we knew this would happen, right? It would be a rookie that got caught out by the track. And unfortunately, it was Ollie Behrman that got caught out by the track and caused all this damage. And he's actually he seems like a really nice young driver. So I actually feel sorry that it had to be him. Out of all the rookies, he's probably one of my favourites. But yeah, unfortunately, this is what happened. I'll put a video in here. And this is what happened. Not good, especially for your first actual race weekend. Obviously, he's been in Ferrari last year, but for his first race weekend with his new team, Haas, this wasn't a good weekend. Probably it's a good thing that Gunter's not there anymore. Perhaps, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, the track caught him, and unfortunately that meant that he couldn't do any practice in FP2. So overnight, he's probably going to be panicking even more. 101 things that he doesn't want to hear, not filling with any confidence. But fingers crossed in FP3 and back into qualifying, he can get a feel for the car and get back into the swing of things ultimately. Will Max Verstappen get a podium this weekend? Well, interesting. Will Max Verstappen get on the podium this weekend? Unlikely. It doesn't look like Red Bull have the pace. It really doesn't look like Red Bull have got the pace this weekend. However, you can't rule Max out, can you? Because to be fair to Max, he puts in a shift. And especially if it rains. If it's going to rain, then I think the chance of Max getting on the podium goes from like 30% all the way up to 80%. I think he's one of the better drivers in the rain. I think when you look at the likes of Lando, George Russell, Oscar probably still make too many mistakes in the rain, which I think that's where Max will capitalise on them, because I don't think his car is definitely not, Red Bull is definitely not as quick as the McLarens, and it will probably struggle as well with the Mercedes, may I add. What has happened to Liam Lawson? Good question. What on earth happened to Liam Lawson? So there was all this talk about Liam coming in to the Red Bull team, joining the team. And actually, if anything, I feel a bit sorry for Yuki Tsunoda, because Yuki Tsunoda, time and time again, proved himself very, very much so. Very much so, Yuki Tsunoda proved himself. Anyway, they're giving it to Liam Lawson. And I actually expected Liam to be closer to Max. I think the delta between him and Liam Lawson, or Max and Liam Lawson, caught me off guard. I didn't expect it to be that much, and I've seen Liam put some comments out after practice saying they've got a lot of work to do tonight and it's going to be a very late one. I'm not sure. Maybe Liam Lawson was a bit overconfident, perhaps. You know, he took Danny Rick's seat at Racing Bulls, and probably alter ego or whatever, he thought he was the man, and he's been humbled. Liam Lawson has been humbled on day one. If you're enjoying the content, please make sure you like and subscribe and share with your friends.